let's kick off today's session. Again, thanks everyone for joining. We've had a really, I think, fantastic week, and I think we can go through the starts as we usually do. I think I'll go through the starts from the TitanX website, and I think Mike will go through the Dunes chart or the Dunes starts that he's created, and that's been really helpful. So great. Okay, just taking a look at what's occurred this week. I think I would like to start off from. I'd like to start with sort of the buy and burn. I think we'll recall that last week when the buy and burn was, I believe, about 2,700 ETH and just under 5 million or thereabout in sort of USD. So 5 million worth of US of ETH. We talked about the fact that 2 weeks prior, and that was, I think that was the 19th of November, that we had about 17,000 USD worth of ETH in the buy and burn V2. Now, if we take a look at the V2 pool, it's almost 12 million. Well, it's to be exact, it's 11,967,000. Well, 11,967,000. $166. So, long and short of it, in a week, the V2 pool has more than doubled. V1 is we got about 10,482,000. Just we can round it up to 10.5 million. Long and short of it, there is fantastic growth here. So in total, we have over 22 million in the buy and burn pools. I think I don't know if anyone has had the opportunity to listen to Mike's recent YouTube video on how to exit positions without sort of adversely impacting the price. I think that was really a good video, and I think we could, we should take some time and just and listen to that. And I think as a community, we can we can work together to continue to improve knowledge and improve the outcome for all within the community. And when I say improve the outcome for all, of course it means that we all have to take the positive action required in order for that to happen. But the resources are definitely going to be increasingly available from community members that will ensure that we are well educated as to how to participate on this platform going forward through the bull market. Okay, so let's on that note just move on to further stats. The TitanX distribution. I've got liquid. We've got under 8%, so that's 7.81%. That this is astonishing, and this is actually what's liquid. This is what's available on the market. Staked is 37.13%. User burned is 0. Of course, we know that that's not activated yet. With hyper expected within the next couple of months, that will begin to move. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure we are looking forward to that as well. Now, buy and burn, that's 54.34%. This is fantastic. You honestly can't put it, any other way. 44 days in, and looking at these stats, it's really, it's good, very good. And I really don't want to overstate it. But how can you not acknowledge, or how can one not acknowledge exactly what's occurring, what's happening here? So, the platform looks very healthy. I think we have sometimes in chart, you find people who focus on the price of the, of the token itself. And I think particularly these very early stages, focusing on the price of the token is really missing the point pretty much entirely. Because with the level of activity and growth in this platform, it's only a question of time for the token price to move in steadily in one direction. I think the payouts, which we'll come on to next, is really where a lot of action is happening. And to put it honestly, to put it mildly, it's we've had millions paid out since this platform was launched, and we've got 3 to 4 games, or 3 to 4 plays as it is, that if we focus on, we will win. We win, and win very, very well. So anyway, looking at the 8-day cycle, so we've got this 8-day rolling payout cycle. So just for those of us who are new here, I would encourage us to go to look at the website, look at the different functions of this, of this protocol. When you look at 8-day payout cycle, it means a rolling payout cycle. So every 8 days. So in the last 8 days ago, we had a payout that was well over $1 million. And the payout, what we have in the payout cycle, 8-day payout cycle pool, as of today, is $456,505. So, and I think this payout is due in the next 3 days. So it's day 48 of the from the date of launch of the protocol. So the pool is still growing, and I think as I continue to harp on here, this is really a fully funded position. It's not, again, not a pie in the sky position. This is really, it's fully funded. And so is your 28-day cycle that is now over 2 million, and I think this is going over 2 million USD worth of ETH will be paid out, and will be paid out on, I think it's day 20, either 22nd or 23rd of December. You've got the 90-day payout cycle. That's a 2.5 million USD worth of ETH will be paid out, and this is, I think, around the 26th or so of January. And same thing applies to the 369-day payout cycle. That's again 2.5, just over 2.5 million USD worth of ETH. Now, forgive me that I'm going over this painstakingly, But we've got to mention this. This platform is already highly liquid. We're talking about payments or payouts in ETH, and ETH being, of course, one of the two, we all know this, one of the two premier assets within the within the crypto or digital environment, and that is actually the currency that we're talking about here. And so that's why I say that there is a lot of play. There's a lot of we got several plays here, and that understanding the platform will definitely enhance our chances at winning. And I really think that there's a level playing field here. Needless to say, for those of us who are new, there was no ICO, there was no IDO, there was no sacrifice, there was no pre-sale, there was no founder allocation or team allocation. What you have here is fair crypto at its best. And so you've got a level playing field, and all that really is left is really for community members to really step up and understand the protocol, not get distracted by any so-called FUD that's going on out there, but to understand the platform for oneself and apply, that knowledge to making a success of it. Most of crypto, as we all know, is simply gambling, to be frank. It is a game of chance. What we have here with this platform is more of a game of skill. And I think we could talk a bit more about that. But understanding this for one's self really enhances one's chances at winning. It's not a pump and dump, and therefore a kind of a short-term approach here would only lead to one being, hurt. You got to take, I think, that sort of behavior that is pervasive within the crypto environment is definitely not encouraged here. And so we should look in terms of medium to long term, and again recognizing that these payouts are fully funded. You go in knowing fully well that depending on your share of the staking pool, you will receive a portion of the of these payout pools that is commensurate with your share of the staking pool. Now that removes a lot of this gambling from the equation, the gambling that you see with other cryptos. Now, I want to let me push on with the last 8-day payout cycle. That's just over 1 million. Now, folks, honestly, I think I know I've hopped on this I think the second session in, but this is what I see, and I would like to hear what everyone else thinks about this, if it's if at all possible. But if you take a look at 369-day payout cycle, that will be the 1 year from day of launch. So it'll be our first year anniversary as a platform, as a protocol, and as a community. Now that the 369-day payout cycle is already 2.5 million. This is just 44 days in. Now, come day 369, which is I think October 29th of next year, 2024. Now, imagine how much this pool is likely to have grown, or would be, definitely would grow to becoming. It will be, I think, and no financial advice here. When we look at the ETFs that are Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, we look at the halvening that's going to occur around April. Do not be surprised if this thing is about 10 million USD. And I'm intentionally being conservative because this could actually be 20 or 30 million. So, and that is the sort of view that one can take. If one starts planning ahead, and we all know a year is not far out at all. Similarly, your 888-day payout cycle, it looks like it's such far, it's far out, but it isn't. It's less than 2.5 years. I think it's 2.3 years, so 2 years and 3 months. I think you could check it out, but from day of launch, that pool could easily become also another probably 20, 30 million pool, USD worth of ETH. And now I'm going to tie this into Mike's video on teaching us how to exit our positions without adversely impacting price. Now, we know Jake has mentioned in the past that he wants to, he foresees the TitanX protocol becoming the most liquid in the Ethereum system, Ethereum ecosystem. And so having the highest liquidity within the Ethereum ecosystem. Now, I think when we begin to project and see the sort of numbers we can have here, you add the buy and burn that we looked at, that's already 22 million. That's likely, and if it carries on, this growth carries just a 5x in about, a 5x come October next year would be about 100 million. When you look at all these pools, and I'm not even talking yet about the price of the token and everything else around it and the liquidity around it, this can easily become, if not the highest in terms of liquidity in the Ethereum protocol, surely it can become it would definitely, I think, a top 5. And so I think when we plan in terms of planning our, how we win here, I think we can take that sort of view, and I think that will enhance. I'm definitely taking that long range view, which is not really that long term, but in crypto, of course, it is long term. But you plan to win in fully funded positions. Okay, so that's great. It's good, that this is happening. I think sometimes one looks at it and you think, it looks so good. I must say, to be frank, I saw this opportunity once it got launched, and I went in heavily. Bought off market, staked, and folks, and honestly, I must say, it's been very good. It's everything it's cranked up to be, and I think we all should take a closer look. Again, this is not financial advice. We should do our own research because we really want to see everyone having the conviction to go with this. And I can definitely say this has exceeded all expectations. Exceeded all expectations, and we're in this together, and we will win together in this. Honestly, I think because we're doing things differently. We're doing it different from what we have seen out there, and be rest assured. Be rest assured. I mean, I am exploring sort of launching, and I got to sort of full disclosure. There's been encouragement of community members to participate and launch projects, and they're not cheap. I'm definitely looking at a project, and I'm already engaging with developers. Discussions are really ongoing on this, and it's very likely that I may very well pull that trigger. And I'm going to say it pretty much is around 70–80%. And I must say this, I've got to be consistent, and therefore no ICOs, no IDOs, no sacrifice, no pre-sale, no surprises. no taking advantage of the community, no telling the community to put up funds or pre-sale, take community funds, then dump on them an inadequate platform, and then ask them to go and provide liquidity for that and think that it's okay. That is definitely not going to happen. And so I say this, and I'm talking about a project that's going to cost at least about 6 figures, because we're going to have to audit it at least 3 times. And I'm saying this knowing fully well what I'm saying, and knowing fully well that people have been hurt and taken advantage of. And part of what we're doing here is to do it differently. There's going to be definitely a lot more of this as we go on further, as we go further. But there's absolutely no reason why any project should collect 10 million, 50 million. And on top of that, then ask the community to go and look for funds to come and, to bootstrap that project in terms of providing liquidity. It's not on at all. In fact, I will be honest and tell you, it's highly unethical. And we've seen projects where it's not just highly unethical, the actions have been bordering on criminality, and actually in some cases outright criminality. I'm so sorry that I've got to put it that way. Now, I'm not mentioning any project in particular, but if you say to me, how can you say that? I can give you an example. I remember, this was 2018. There was a particular project, it was called Titanium blockchain. And I say this because this is this information that is openly available. The chap who was running that made all kinds of promises, raised over 21 million. He did not deliver. He claimed he knew it. He claimed all kinds of connections that he had. I definitely put in funds there. He claimed, of course, he wanted to deliver. It was decentralized cloud, and it was definitely a concept that that made sense. But the fact is, he collected this fund, and the first thing he went and did was pay off his mortgage on his second house, pay off his credit cards. And when you ask me how do I know that? Well, the SEC stepped in. They got him arrested. They then found out upon seeking discovery of of how he spent the funds, just going by the chain. They found this out. All of this now is openly available. But did he disclose that to the community when he was asking for funds, that he wanted to use that to pay off his credit cards and pay off his mortgage? That is before anybody in the community even got anything back from their investment. This is the sort of behavior. Now, he got convicted because, of course, the Department of Justice got involved. I got a refund from this. I got a 5-figure refund. And I'm not talking about low 5 figures. I'm talking about in the mid 5 figures. So we don't want this sort of behavior. And I'm telling you, let us pray that neither the SEC or any other regulator or the Department of Justice, let's just hope that they don't look into the pulse chain ecosystem and force the issue, because I think we would. I would not be surprised, but I'm sure that there will be people who will be really disappointed on this. I say this because I want us to change our behavior as community members. We cannot continue to fund this behavior. We are funding it, and we can see what the result is. And I think part of the statement of fair crypto, we see what Jack Levin did with Zen. The fact is, long and short of it, he did not ask for funds. He did not go to the community and bleeding them dry. And he's building out an entire ecosystem. He's building a blockchain. He didn't ask for for funds from community members. Long and short of it, the fair crypto movement is what it is, and that's what I regard it is, and that's where TitanX stands in. And that's where we must see what Jake has done. Out of pocket funded this. Out of pocket. And so when anybody is castigating Jake, I think we need to ask them the simple question: did he ask for ICO money? Did he ask for your money in order to build this? Did he get any sacrifice money from you or any sort of pre-sale? Did he get a pre-allocation? Now, if there wasn't any pre-sale of any kind, there was no pre-allocation of any kind, there's no sort of any of these nasty surprises, you can understand why the community is winning. What we've just read out here with these payout cycles is what happens when a founder chooses not to be greedy. When a founder chooses to put the community first, this is what happens. The community wins. So I think we need to be very clear that we understand what's going on, that there's certain behavior that we're not prepared to accept. But if founders are prepared to put the communities first, then of course they would be supported. And that is exactly what this is about, the bigger picture of this, beyond the figures that we've gone through, and beyond the fantastic story that TitanX is. The bigger story, of course, there is that we cannot continue to see community members being hurt, financially hurt. It's not a game. It is not a game at all, or a joke. This is people. We're talking about people's financial future here, and therefore, I think we should treat it with the seriousness it deserves. I think on that note, I come off my soapbox for now. I really want to hand over to Mike. Mike, can you kindly take us through your Dunes updates and stats, and that will be highly appreciated. Thank you.
Hey everyone, hey, thank you, Plan A. Nice being here. So probably first thing I would like to say is that thank you very much, TitanX community. I have been getting a lot of messages in the DM on YouTube and also in Telegram. I really appreciate and thanks for the lovely messages. I mean, I even wrote one tweet out as well, thanking the community. And one thing for sure, I think TitanX is rock solid DeFi. I mean, look at the data and come to your own conclusion. And that's why I also created the Dune dashboard so that you can look at the data and you can hopefully come to your own conclusion looking at the data. So probably one interesting stats I would like to share with you guys is the amount of ETH which came in, which the Tightening smart contract has received, is currently 21.5K, so 21,500 ETH to date. So with the current ETH price, that would be something around 50 million. So that's absolutely amazing. And probably one interesting observation, if you leave out day one and day two, 8 days ago at day 37, we received a whopping 1,401 Ethereum in one single day. So that's around 3.2 million in one day. And if I remember correctly, that was definitely not even a payday. The payday would have been, yeah, I think that was not a payday if I remember correctly. So that's absolutely interesting. Probably another thing which is also interesting, I think we just crossed 120,000 miners to date. So that's definitely very interesting. It's just day 44, and the increase and the adoption is growing. And this is, yeah, the last week or the last 7 days has been quite amazing. So the growth is very positive, and yeah, sure. I hope this will definitely continue. But the looks of it, things are really going quite well. And probably one last point, I've also pinned the tweet I made, which was regarding the single-sided liquidity providing on Uniswap. And yeah, so if you have a big position, you either want to enter or exit without slippage, go and check out the video. I think I try to make it as easy as possible because I'm aware that some of you guys maybe you're new to liquidity providing and things like that. So I try to make it as simple as possible so that people just understand it in some ways. This was actually pretty hard to make. This video was kind of a lot of work because I recorded way more and I took out a lot of things. So that was yeah, was a lot of work this time to make this video, but I hope you can learn something, and yeah, hopefully you can learn something new. And yeah, that's probably the update from my side for now. Thank you.
Great, Mike. Thank you so much again. I must say to everyone, Mike is doing such great work. Again, this is work that he's doing and putting out there to create a level playing field for the community. I think just let me just dwell on this a little bit. I think we all are out to say. I think we sort of probably have heard about the concept of the perfect market or the imperfect market or the efficient market. Now, just looking at these concepts, with a perfect market, you get everyone has the same level of, they've got everyone has got the same information. So there's information asymmetry. Imperfect market is opposite. One person or a small group of people have all the information or most of the information, the others don't. And therefore they can rig and play the market and to the detriment or severe detriment of others. And that means, of course, they can claim to make a lot of profit, but those sort of markets, these imperfect markets, especially severely imperfect markets, are pretty much very rigged. The information that, or if you like, the objective is really to make sure that you get as much information out there to people so they make informed decision in a market. Now, the thing is, of course, in a perfect market with people who have almost very similar information, the margin for profits is really very limited because people have the information that's required. You really can't bamboozle them or manipulate them so easily. Now, and so I think this is what we need to sort of take kind of take to heart and bear in mind. I think we've got in TitanX on that spectrum of imperfect and perfect markets. We have a market in TitanX that is closer to your perfect market. And if you look at a lot of the experiences we've had within the Pulse chain ecosystem as well as elsewhere, it's pretty much your imperfect market. That's the model that a lot of these ICOs or sacrifices is based on. So you really don't have much information. What is the founder using these funds? Oh, you're not meant to ask any questions. It's a sacrifice. Fine. Okay. Can you give some disclosure at least as to what you're going to use the funds for? No. So okay. You decide. Okay. You know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They end up taking such advantage that it just it boggles the mind how that is even on what planet can that really be acceptable? Now, that is why when you go to more regulated markets, when you go to, and I say more regulated markets because the crypto market is regulated somewhat. It's not, there's certain aspects of it that are still kind of largely unregulated. But if you were to compare to kind of highly regulated markets like the stock market, full disclosure is a major part of that. And playing with full disclosure or not coming correct with the full disclosure can get you into a lot of trouble. Why do I say this again? I say this as a community, we shouldn't allow people or founders to play games with us anymore. I think for us who are dedicated to TitanX and projects like it, are dedicated to that principle that full disclosure upfront, and people will play if they've got all the information available. And within this context, you could see with TitanX, we have, I mean, it's really out there, really transparent, which is great. And so that is where you can, you know, we say we're closer to perfect market as you can get, really. But of course, it has a bit of imperfection in it, in a beautiful way, a beautiful imperfection. And that's your what do they call them again? Your game you know, theory, and there's several plays within the system. So you really have to then start unraveling this thing. And so it is almost like you and I can be looking at the same thing, but we're seeing different things. So we have the same information, of course, at the base of it, but you will play it differently from the way I play it. And that is what it becomes when we talk about this game of skill. Because I can see, looking at TitanX and the variables current, and there are going to be further variables with Hyper launching at some point, perhaps January or February, because if we look at 3 to 4 months from date of launch, which was October 28th, will put us around the end of February. So yes, we'll put us end of January, February timeframe. But the point is this, that with the information that we have available, we're very close to this perfect market model, but there are a lot of games to be played here. So we've got to really unwrap this. You look at Mike Dean's information and stats, it pretty much, we're not flying blind here, but we can piece these pieces of information together, and really our play could become more sophisticated than others. And so in that context, I think what Mike Dean is doing for the community is worth its weight in gold. He's given us the data that we need to structure our plays, to structure a sophisticated, you know, plays in a sophisticated way, to look into the future. We can see what stakes are coming out. We see what mines are there. And we can make decisions around that. And so, and that's great. And I know for sure that Mike is working. He's not saying that here. And I'm sorry, Mike, if I just gotta mention this community as an encouragement, that I know that Mike is building out stuff that the community will need, and he's building them out. He is a software developer. He is, you know, so you know, he does this thing for a living, okay? And so when he says it wasn't easy, I mean, it wasn't easy to put all the stuff together with Dunes. He's actually building out more behind it, an engine behind it that you know, it will take time to do. But I just want to say, you know, this is the spirit. This is the spirit that we want within the community. And to say to everyone who's thinking, well, what's the incentive? There's great incentive. There's great incentive from the protocol itself. Everyone who builds and launches on this protocol will get 8% of all you know, all TitanX that is burned, and that is a huge incentive. And if anyone who builds something that community needs would, of course, would definitely see that reward. And I think I'll hop off here because I know that some others want to talk, but just to say this, that if those who are building, and I'm sure even those that I don't know about, but if they're looking and finding the funds to build, then I think that those of us who are seeking to build can do the same without badgering the community for ICO funds or ID or whatever, pre-sale, you know, disguise of you know, that one may think of. So long and short of it, I think we all, you know, I think the community, this community is being prepped to be sophisticated enough and not to be readily exploited. and to be able to ask those questions that are required. And I truly want everyone to win here. And I mean, from the project that I would be launching, I mean, this is, I wouldn't say, I mean, of course, there's no advice, no financial advice, and I'll say definitely do your research. Don't rely on my word here, but hold me to account here. I will make sure that the community is put first. I will make sure that the community wins and wins handsomely, as long as the protocol, performs. Because the protocol has to perform. It has to perform. It has to fill a gap within the TitanX ecosystem. And if it does that, and I hope it does, the community must be put first. And of course, when you put the community first, you win. You definitely win. And I think Jake really is a clear example of that. Okay, so sorry for just continuing on endlessly about this, but I think we almost have to continue to repeat this so that we're all on the same page, and that and that we really know why we're here, and win together. But anyway, Adam, did you want to say something? Richie, PM, anyone?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a little bit on the staking aspect of things. If you guys don't mind, I'll just put in my 2 cents and what I think is interesting. I'm just looking at the stats, and let's say that we are on the same trajectory. There is the same steady growth that's happened for the first 44 days of Titan. And I'm going to look at the 369-day payout cycle, which is 12% completed. So if the number of ETH that's going into the market stays the same steady growth, we're not adding any new users, we're not losing any new users, we're at a steady rate. If the price of ETH stays the same, even at the trajectory of the end of the day 369, when you get paid out, it'll currently be $20.8 million in the 369 pool. I thought that was a pretty good tidbit, and that's with the price of ETH staying the same. We're betting on that to go up. That's with the people that are hopping into Titan to not be growing exponentially, but it's been doing that since 44 days now. So I think those are very promising figures. And I'm just looking forward to the first double payout of the staking rewards, which happens on day 56. I'm looking forward to that. You get paid the 8-day cycle, and you get paid the 28-day cycle. And also, I have a bunch of miners coming out on the days between day 80 and 90, because those 10 days, you collect 4 payout cycles for your stakes. You get the day 8, you get the third 28-day, you get the 88-day, or sorry, the 90-day, and you get another 8-day cycle as well. So you get 4 payouts in that 10-day frame. That's all I wanted to say there.
Thank you. Thanks so much. That's so well put. And it definitely goes to show that, particularly in the hyperinflationary phase of TitanX, in my view, the major play are these payouts, and understanding how they work. Every 8 days, every 90 days, actually every 28 days, every 90 days. Not to talk about the every 369 days and every 888 days. Now, it means very clear, as Adam said, and you can see Adam has worked this out clearly. I mean, this is the whole point about us looking at the same thing, but seeing different things. I mean, not seeing it very clearly, or not seeing everything, or seeing different things. And that's perfectly okay. But it means that, of course, we need to continue to seek the information that we need, because it's really in front of us. To understand what this play is, because if you take a look, just just a year out, as Adam has mentioned with this 369, quite frankly, I hadn't done I hadn't computed the figures that it would be, but I mean that it would be close to 30 million even at today's prices. Now, but just taking that as it is, can you imagine if your aim is to say even just to have 0.05% of that 30 million payout, and you start building up to that from today. If you and with the information that Mike is providing, you can almost project to see, okay, how much TitanX would be in circulation, how much in terms of the rate of staking. You can just do all kinds of variables. And at this point, of course, you can't be very certain. But if you're able to model certain figures, I mean, model, certain outcomes, you'll probably, you'll probably achieve exactly what you're seeking to achieve. And that is the whole thing of not flying blind here, but using the resources available to aim for those the heights that one wants to aim for. That's infinitely better than the game of chance and the gambling that we have, where you throw this money out to founders who have these ICOs and sacrifices. They don't tell you exactly what they're doing. They create these pie in the skies things. They dump on you a bunch of worthless tokens, and you're there, and they're perfectly okay leaving you there to continue thinking that things will be okay. No. I think the way forward, and this is that is a very broken model. The way forward must be this: full information, full disclosure. And to be frank with you, I think folks on the Pulse chain, platform and so on, have to be very careful, because I don't care whether it's 2 years, 3 years after the event, they can, and when I say they, I mean the authorities can still come after you. And we've seen that happen. And so it is important for us to do things ethically, to do things properly. And I think I feel this way because, of course, I say a lot of people I've seen and people I know who've been hurt, and I think that is, that is it's not on at all. It's not on at all. And so again, just coming back again to TitanX, fair crypto, fair launch at its best. It's sustainable. I think Jake has found a way to make fair crypto sustainable. There were a lot of debates in the beginning when we had, of course, Zen as to how is this sustainable? How would people be incentivized to build and earn here? I think that question, which was very valid, that question has been answered, and has been answered by TitanX. There may be other models that may come up in the future, but as it is today, this model has answered that question. And I think we can build around this and make sure that the community wins. Again, if one is playing short term, that's the only way you lose here, or one loses here. If one thinks this is a pump and dump, and then one can just run away and take them, no, this isn't it. And as the system continues to grow, it becomes increasingly clear that the pump and dump is definitely not in play here, and one only gets hurt by behaving in that way. So it's good. PM, over to you.
Hi, thanks for hosting this. New to TitanX. I started mining about a week ago, and I'm just wondering some questions around the staking. So, for the 8th-day payout, as I understand it, if we even stake on the 7th day, we still get the full payout for the 8th day, or is it like prorated?
That's correct.
So we do get the full payout.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right. If anyone wants to,
I just want to say one more thing. I thoroughly enjoy these days investing on projects, not promises. That's a good key to take away. I've been burned on promises before. I've done well on other things, but that's my strategy going forward. And I noticed TitanX is rock solid from the get-go. The stats are there if you need them. Do your research, and from out the gate, day one. It was a solid project to invest. There was no promises there. All the data starts emerging each and every day from that day.
Yeah, 'cause I wanted to say something. So yeah, this project is great, right? We can see this, and so there's a lot of savvy people here right now in the crypto space, right? Prices are starting to go up on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and so people are starting to look at it a little bit more. But first is going to come the people that have knowledge of crypto, right? And then the rest will come when it really starts pumping. But there's some great things here, and thanks for doing this space, Plan A. I wanted to say that everything is here that you need, but the thing is that you have to be somewhat intelligent here, and you have to be able to see what's there. And there's some things there, and one is like, for example, right? It's hidden, and so things that people are just passing through will miss. For example, if you go to Etherscan, it says there's 4,000 holders or something of this nature. And this is probably people that are holding liquid. It's not including stakes. It's not including miners. But thanks to Mike D, and this is why I'm about this community, because you guys are already on your shit. So, like Mike D made the Dune dashboard, we can see there's 88,000 something holders now, or new miner holders, or whatever it is. And so there's one thing, right? You look at the liquidity pool, and people will blow it off because they're like, oh, it's only 600,000 in liquidity. Well, they don't understand the buy and burn is essentially a liquidity pool, right? That's got 20 million in it, which would make a $40 million liquidity pool, or not liquidity pool, but market cap or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it doubles if you put the other half in. It's the two-sided. So anyway, I'm just saying that there's stuff here that the normal person is going to just blow off, but there's very intricate things here. And it took the best of some great projects, Zen, Hex, Ethereum, and utilize these things in great ways. And anyone who's worried about short-term price action in this was never around for day one Hex. So I was a day one Hex, all this stuff, early Bitcoin, and you don't understand what's going on here. And so people who understand earlier move earlier, and it's better. And it's better. And even if you missed it, you can only be a whale, or not a whale, but you get your T rank bonus. So I'm talking about what Plan A was talking about, these setups where people who are in the know, who got in early, and now they're just running the whole game. That's 10% or 1% or 5% of people. Look, dude, if I got in and I 280-day T rank, my T rank number is gone after 280 days, bro. Everyone else gets a shot at it. And so this is what my Plan A is talking about: fair launch. You know what I mean? Back in the Hex days, and I was a day one, and I understand it all, and I get it, and I'm not here to bash Hex, but there was a group of people that told everyone to 5, locked that shit up for 15 years, and they were early on the adoption amplifier, got billions and billions of Hex, and we're doing 30-day rolling stakes, just taking your money as you 5. And so this is all a scam, and they were able to, not a scam, but it was a game, and it was an unfair game. And this is what Plan A is talking about: fairness, that you can go and get your position with a T rank, but you can't hold that forever. At 280 days is the most time you can hold it, bro. And then you lose your T rank bonus, and then the T rank bonus is going down over time. There's many things to make this a fair play, and this is really good. And I hope people are understanding what I'm saying, and maybe people don't, and someone else can expand on it. The ETH that went into the adoption amplifier, other projects, not just Hex, not banging on Hex or Richard Hart, just the truth. They went in there and they went to founders. Or you sacrificed your shit to something that didn't exist, and you just gave your money away. You're putting your money into something that's going into a locked liquidity pool, which is essentially the buy and burn. And so I hope everybody understands that, and I think everybody does that's here right now. And I've been in crypto a long, long time, man. I've made a lot of money on it. I'll just put it at that. And I've seen a lot of shit over the years. And I'm telling you, this setup is very, very solid, and I'm glad to be here with you guys, and Mike D's making stuff. All you guys are doing stuff, and it's really good to see. And it's a pleasant environment in the Telegram. and keep everything positive, 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 man, because that's what's going to win us. Listen to what I'm saying. If you hear anything that I say, man, if you're a leader or you're a top dog in this, or you've been around a long time, guys, listen, man, this cycle, what we're doing right here, please, let's be positive, positive, positive. I've talked about Richard and Hex, but we really got to kind of let that go if it's not just factual stuff. And we love everyone, man. We want everyone to win. And that's how it is, you know. And if it's got to be love, positive, love, good, positive. There's so much negativity in the space, man. And I want to encourage people that crypto still is an angle where you can get wealthy. Get rid of the $1 million, get rid of all those ideas. You can get wealthy. You can 10x your money, bro. Just 10x your money. Be healthy in what you're doing. Don't put in money you can't afford. Listen, man, if you put, you know, three full miners, you know, $1,200, $1,000, you're gonna make a lot of money, man. Right now, where we're at right now, and so love all you guys. I'm honored to be a part of it, and thank you so much.
Good. Thank you so much, you know, for saying that, Richie. I think that was Richie. You know, I don't have anything to add to that. I think, you know, you know, I was thinking recently about this. You look at Telegram, or TitanX Telegram, and you see our moderators and see how they, you know, how they behave, and I find that exemplary. The high-handedness that you find in, you know, you find in some other groups, and the just sheer, you know, oppressive sort of behavior, is just simply not there, and it's very clear to me why not. Going back to the same point, I mean, it's really a clean and a fair lunch, so there's really no need to start, you know, behaving in the way that we've seen other Telegram groups that have collected significant amounts of money from their community members, who turn around, who ask questions, who ask very reasonable questions, who then turn around and get, you know, banned. And that sort of behavior, and the negativity, that they get called names and so on, that is something that we must move away from completely, and maintain a positive, you know, the positive energy that is required to work together as a community. So I think that's all that I would add. And so that was just great, and thanks again. Who wanted? I think someone wanted to speak.
Yeah, can I cut in just for 1 second?
Yeah. Yes, please.
I just want to say, and I apologize because I don't jump in these spaces enough, and I'm not that active on the Telegram. But these are so valuable, and everyone who's not on Twitter, which you got to remember, there's a lot of this country who just hates Elon Musk so much they refuse to be on Twitter. Everyone's missing out on all this action. We need to start recording these spaces and blasting it out on YouTube and getting it elsewhere out, because that's kind of part of the reason why I was doing some of my YouTube stuff, was just for all the people who aren't on Twitter, because they're missing all of this. So apologies for cutting in. Everything everyone says, I agree with 100%, and it's awesome. Yeah, anyway, you guys are all awesome. This is great. Just, yeah, maybe we'd find a way to record it, get it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that. This is being recorded. I don't know if you've noticed, but yes, I think I've had a discussion with Mike on this, and this would be on YouTube. I think so. It was also something that I wanted to mention, of course, to the group, to say that these sessions would now be going onto YouTube. You'll be able to find it on Mike Dean's channel. So yes, thanks, Mo. You're absolutely right. we need to make sure that that people are aware
Hey,
of what's going on here, because we
I-
really got something special here. Yeah.
yeah.
Hello.
Oh, so I just wanted to say, so one thing from Hex and Bitcoin and all the stuff I've done in crypto, I just want you guys to know and understand, because there is ideology about short-term staking and or about staking and about mining and short-term mining and long-term mining. And some of it has to do with, I think, how much money people have. So there, if you don't have a whole bunch of money to put into it, it changes your play a little bit. And I understand that. And so like short-term mining and stuff like that. So understand, like the secret sauce of Hex was the T-share, right? And a lot of people never talked about that. They didn't know about that until later. And so that was what it was about early, getting T-share. So I keep bringing this up because this T rank is huge. So for example, depending on when you got in, even right now, I think that T rank bonus is at least double. You know, then it depends on how many miners come after you. So it's not a consistent thing, right? Per se. But understand, I mean, on average, you're going to get twice as many, twice as many on the T rank bonus, TitanX, as you're getting on the regular, just, you know, mining it or whatever. So if I'm getting 1 billion for mining it, as a early adoption amplifier and all these other bonuses and that T rank bonus is going to be 2 billion. So I'm going to get 3 billion. So that's the secret sauce, kind of like the T-share, that people maybe don't understand. And so for me, that's part of the problem with doing these, you know, short-term mining. Understand that every time you do that, when you have a long-term miner like myself, you short-term mine, you're just giving me money every time you restart that miner, because I got a T-rank bonus every time you do that. And so I'm just putting that out there. Someone else can speak on it. And then understand what we're saying here when it comes to T-rank bonus, and why we're saying, even if it's a smaller amount, I think it's based, Mike D or somebody can speak on it, but I think it's based on being a full power miner that's 100 power, and it could be for less, whatever the other variable is. I'm sorry, guys, I just woke up. So, but what I'm saying is, understand the T rank bonus is massive. And it's not understood, I don't think, as much. And as early adopters, I want y'all to understand, do yourself a favor. If you can only afford one, just do one max miner, 100, and let it sit there for your benefit, okay? But really look into the T rank bonus, because this is going, the multiplier is going down over time. And also every time you start and stop a miner, you're going to the back of the line, essentially. When it comes to the bonuses. So please just look into it, and I highly recommend for your own self, just start yourself a 280-day miner 100%. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you. Mike, do you have anything to add to Richie's statement?
I would like to say this is also something which, Richie, you're totally right. This is actually something in the first day or so, I didn't really look into it. I knew it was there, but I was not 100% sure how it was working. But at the second day, I figured it out, basically. So this is definitely something T-Rank is very, very important, and really look at it. Especially when you start your miner, you're going to see, if you just wait whatever, some few minutes or hours, you can, if you refresh the site, you can see that the extra bonuses you're getting. So really look into the T rank, see how that works, and it's I think it's very important, because if you understand that, you can make better decisions for sure. I can say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's basically compounding, and you just have to understand that, because like, for example, you know, think about this, like, right, if all these people come behind me, and there's no way to calculate it. That's why it's not on the Dune dashboard, this number. There's no, because it's a variable depending on how many people start miners. There's been 110,000 miners, and we're just getting started, man. There's going to be 1 million miners in the next 280 days. If I have a miner that I started and I have a team rank bonus that's 100,000, or whatever it is today, and then there's 1 million of them, that means 990,000 or 900,000 people or miners just paid me. If I'm starting and stopping, then how many do I have? And so understand, this is an exponential growth. this T rank, and just I hope people really look into this, because this is the best information I can give you from my position of the experience that I've had with other crypto and where I've been. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, you got to start one long-term miner, because I showed you my miner, the first one that I started, and how much T rank bonus, you'd shit yourself.
Yeah, I just want to pinch in a little bit regarding to this topic, because it's personally myself, coming from Zen community, I already I understand how this T rank stuff and global mining, whatever, how they work. So I took a very big advantage of that. So even my two friends that I brought in, I didn't allow them. I stopped. They wanted to do shorts and mid. I'm like, don't do that. Yeah, you can do that, but you make a short gain. But this is the reason I don't want you to do this. I explained the T rank to those two of my friends, and they hardly invest in crypto. They're big guys. They don't want their money to. They just don't want to hear stories. But I was able to show them, the TitanX, the website, and we looked at everything together, and they saw the numbers, and I showed them my mining rig, and they were astonished. So yeah, long term, even some of my friends online here, like virtual friends, I told them that most of my mining, they're all long term, and I know why I'm doing it, because I want to be collecting those T ranks. Yes, I do have like medium, but those are not my big plays. My big plays are long term. Some are like, oh, how are you sure the project is gonna be profitable at that time? I'm like, I am sure it's gonna be profitable, because we have money, almost like Richie said earlier. Was it Richie or so? The buy and burn sitting there, it's like liquidity. It's just there. Why can you not see that? So I knew that it will be there, that the 280 days beyond, it will be there. So most of this thing is long term. So yeah, if you're here and you have not started, or even if you've started mining already, try to go long term. It's very important. And whenever you start a new miner or all those short term, you're actually increasing my bag significantly. T rank wise, you're actually increasing my bag significantly. So it's very important, and thank you, Richie, for bringing up that, because it's something that we know, but we didn't. A lot of us didn't know much how it works. And on the other hand, too, if you're here and you think I keep saying it all the time, if you're here and you think you're late, you're not late. I am mining as soon as I'm able to. Like, I am not gonna stop. You're not late. All you got to do is just start your first miner, and then you go from there. You are never gonna be late. You look at the money in the ecosystem, look at all the payouts, look at everything going on, and then you realize you're not late. If we that started from day one are still mining, and then you're coming out and think you're late. No, look at the future. Think about the long term. Bull market hasn't even started. Even the miner you're gonna set up now for 280 days, maybe it's gonna end up like in the beginning. I mean, in the hot, it's still in the bull market, right? Still way in the bull market. So those are the things you have to look out to. Don't look at the short term, because those short term people, yeah, you want the money now, but you don't make the big life changing money, because you just want it now. But when you're patient and patient, it's just like when you're fishing, you be patient. Why? Until you catch fish. It's the same way. If you want to win big, you have to be patient. You have to play the game the right way, and not just want the money now. So yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you Richie, thank you Plan A, and thank you Mike for. I saw you. I woke up this morning to your movie, Mike. To your YouTube, the single side staking. I loved it, and I just want to say thank you for for putting out that video. It was helpful. Thanks.
I appreciate, man. Really great. Really appreciate. So probably just one thing regarding T rank. There is a section in the Dune dashboard. The section is the future TitanX supply. And initially, when I created it, I was not able to include the T rank because it was somewhat very complicated to do the calculation inside Dune. But I actually managed to do this. I've actually attached the the tweet I posted. The future TitanX supply, all the T rank bonuses are now included. So this is just what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, because I know that's a complicated thing because of the variables, and you're doing an awesome job, man. I'm gonna send you some ETH. You're doing awesome, man. And people need to support this guy because his analytics and what these guys are doing, man, this is everything. And thank you so much.
It's great. Well, again, thanks, Desk, Richie, and Mike. Must say, if anybody wants to say anything, please feel free to let me know, and I would definitely pull you up to share. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to share something if I could.
Oh, great. Please.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys already spoke about it, but you know, a lot of us, especially, you know, we're new to the TitanX community. It's a new project itself, and I know a couple people, especially seasoned crypto investors, that kind of went big right ahead. Being a first mover is always beneficial to profit, especially if you were in Zen, Pulse, and all that stuff. So what I'm basically asking is for like people like I remember even earlier Richie said, depending on the amount of money that you're investing, there's different strategies or different plays, and I sit here and contemplate all the time all the different variables and all the different things that could actually happen, especially with large sums of money. So I don't know. What do you guys? Is there advice? Is there any strategy for large sums of payouts, or people that and that's not looking for a quick flip, but wants to grow that bag into something even greater? I mean, is it create more miners? Is it stake? Is it wait for hyper? What would you guys recommend?
So I think you would. Oh, go ahead, Mo. Go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I was just going to say that, recently I've been playing around with doing like medium term miners, and the amount of TitanX that you get in the end, you can look at the dollar payout and go, oh man, I can flip this for like 4 or 5x. But I like to look at the investment that you're putting into it. Okay, what did I pay for that miner? And then in the end, when you look at what you could get for staking all of that TitanX that you get, you more than make up for what you paid for your miner. And I've done that with a couple of large amounts of money and more than made up for my investment just by staking it. So that's just one thought.
And whatever it is, just make sure you're not getting yourself into trouble. There's no need to do that at this point, man. I mean, they just already told you, like, I'm still buying miners, and there's people who are still buying miners that have a lot of money or that are bigger guys, and they're still buying miners. So you're not late. Look back to Hex, okay? Because it's not exactly like Hex. It only has some features, a few of them, and Zen and different things. But if you go look back the first year of Hex, you could have DCA'd $200 a month for the first year, and you would have made, I don't even know how much money, but a shit ton of money. So you don't have to go crazy in the thing. Do what's comfortable for you. Do not put yourself at risk, man. We learn that, right? And don't put yourself at risk. Don't be taking loans out to get this shit. Don't be doing that, man. I mean, a few $100s a month. If you go back and look at Hex, if you would have done that in the whole first year, and this launched exactly almost 2019, so 4 years after Hex, very similar. Okay, the adoption amplifier, you didn't have to put a ton of money in, and this is like that. And so yes, the more you put in, the more you get back, blah 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 blah. But also just be safe, do not get yourself in trouble, and just consistently, if you have a nice chunk come from a tax return, yeah man, put some of that in there if there's free money, otherwise, a few $100s a month, whatever it is, just kind of consistently. And I'd buy long-term miners. That's me, but that's my 2 cents in it. But just be careful. Everyone needs to be careful. We hopefully learn that. Everyone hopefully learn that. Okay.
Yeah, 100% what he said. In my case, I had worked out the calculations to ROI the initial investment back on the first 28-day payout, and so that's what I did personally for that. But also, one of these things in the system is don't go all in on one idea. There's so many different ideas. You know, you can diversify your entire strategy in TitanX itself. You don't have to do any one thing.
Hello?
Sorry, cut out there. Yeah, yeah. You don't
Okay,
have to
no
do
problem.
just one thing. You don't have to buy. You don't have to just stake. You don't have to just mine. You can play so many different facets of the system that you don't have to play a large amount of money on any one thing. Like there's just no point to that. Kind of like Adam said, you can put a small amount in. You can mine for the long term, and you can find value in that. But there's so many different ways. Don't do one thing. You know, look into it, play it out, and don't only do what's comfortable for you. Absolutely. Don't ever put anything that doesn't make sense. You know, if you need that money next month, don't invest it. Like that's just all there is to it. You know, so yeah, just seconding what Adam was saying there.
So great, thanks, Mo. You know, well said. Anybody else? MG, did you have something else to add to that?
Oh no, that's all. You know, it's
That's
just
all.
the landscape is so crazy right now, it's so new. You know, just a little advice is good. You know, even when you guys post on Twitter, just guiding people in the right direction, I think would be good. You know, even Mo's been doing that for me. I've been following him on Twitter a lot, so I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you guys.
that's true. Mo has been doing a great job, you know, in that regard as well. And you know, I'm following him on Twitter as well, and liking his you know his tweets. And so yes, I mean, I think keeping up with the information and analyzing it, and applying that analysis is definitely the way to go with this project, and rightly so. I really don't want to make it sound too complicated. So if anyone is feeling that perhaps it's just too much in terms of you know what's being said, there's too many moving parts, too many levers to pull, please, you know, I do apologize about that, because that's definitely not the intention. I think all I'll say is just take a look at the website and you see what the levers are. The levers are quite straightforward. So you have the staking mechanism, you have the mining function, you've got staking. I think those are really the two levers you need to understand and understand well. The buy and burn mechanism, as well as the payouts, are bits that you definitely need to understand. But from understanding, you know, the levers that you need to pull within the ecosystem to take off, I think you need to understand how the mining function works, and how the so you have, sorry about this, it's mining and how the staking mechanism works. Now I'm not going to touch upon buying off market. That's simply, you know, I'm not going to touch upon that for now. But of course, I mean, if one wants to buy off market and stake, that's perfectly okay, and stake long term. So long and short of it, it isn't that difficult. I think we had a few sessions ago where we the title of that session was you know, TitanX Bitcoin Reimagined, and that made that is, you know, it's absolute makes absolute sense. I mean, in the last session we talked about what our value proposition is, so that we understand what space we're playing in. Because if we understand that, we understand what TitanX is about. It's definitely a lot simpler. So from a value proposition perspective, we're operating, of course, within the DeFi, you know, space of crypto. There are different verticals within crypto. DeFi, decentralized finance, is its own vertical, and within that vertical, we are focused on store of value. And I think since Bitcoin was created, we haven't pretty much innovated much on the store of value. There've been a lot of, projects that have come and gone, but haven't been able to sustain themselves. Bitcoin being a first mover has sustained itself. It came out as a currency. That was the original objective. If we look at the white paper of Satoshi, that was it. It was meant to be a currency. It failed to become a currency, but it became a store of value. We talked about last session, that of course, it's important to have a value proposition. You may pivot, but it's important to start off when you hit the market, research, you got more information, and you might pivot. I think for us, you could say, 15 years in, since the launch of Bitcoin, we have a lot of information. We've improved upon the store of value proposition. So whereas Bitcoin it's just there, doesn't do anything, it's really just there. With TitanX, you have a decentralized staking mechanism. So this is not the sort of, remember when Kraken launched this staking as a service, but in effect, what they used to do was actually collect the funds of stakers and invest the funds. And that is one of the reasons why the SEC pulled them up on it. So this whole staking as a service wasn't really as a service. It was pretty much an investment. What we're talking about here is straightforward, decentralized staking. You stake, you do the work. And of course, the payouts go directly into your wallet. As you go in and take the wallet. Sorry, the payments or the payouts once they're due. So, but the point I'm making is that this, with TitanX, pretty much has added on a bit more to a Bitcoin staking mechanism. Of course, we know that with Bitcoin, you have to go and mine. So Bitcoin had that function of mining. But this staking mechanism, the payouts, the buy and burn, these are all there to sustain value. And when you put that in the context of an environment or an ecosystem that is growing and appreciating, timing is everything. The next 2 years, if they pan out the way we expect, or that we believe that it will pan out, it would melt faces, and I think a lot of people who are patient would be really happy within the TitanX ecosystem. So this is pretty much Bitcoin. I'm saying it's a store of value. That is the value proposition of TitanX. Hyper, that is going to be launched in a couple of months. I think Jake, in his own words, called it a store of value within the ecosystem of TitanX. So that's a store of value within a store of value, if that makes sense. But put that aside for a minute and just focus on TitanX. TitanX is a store of value. And I think when we understand that, we then, of course, can understand why these levers make sense. And so if you go to any savings account, any certificate of deposit, anywhere in TradFi, in traditional finance, you would not find an opportunity like TitanX. It is truly a rock solid, a decentralized community banking initiative that I don't see and I haven't seen anywhere else within crypto. So I think we can take it seriously, take it very seriously. There's really something special here. But again, I think as Richie said, we're not going to go and break the bank in order to put money into TitanX. Please do not put in money that you can't afford to lose, and that is meant.
And importantly, there's time, man. There's time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
We're at the bottom of a beginning of a bull market. This could be a lot of people think a head fake. We've seen this over the past 2 cycles, that there's this, rally and a dump. So, I mean, that's why long-term mindset is critical right now. When you're in the middle of a bull market or something like this, or, halfway or above, long-term mindset is not a good idea, because, you got 3, 4, 5 months, 2 months, 3 months, right here, we got a year and a half, we got a little time, if history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So there's time. Just remember that. Yes, I've done it myself. I FOMO a little bit. It's urgent because of T rank bonus and this and that. But listen, man, there's time. So be safe. You're an early adopter. Go back to Hex, man. The first year there was plenty of time, and just remember that there's time, but balance the idea that I need to get in, get early, be the T rank bonus and all this stuff, or whatever you're staking, whatever it is. Balance that idea, the FOMO, with, hey man, there's time. And I know it's hard if you haven't been around, but I've been around a few, and so have some of these guys, and hopefully they can encourage you in that too. That there's OG hexagons in this. I know there is, and they'll show their faces when they do. There's other people who've just been around a long time, and just listen to them. And I hope they encourage people. This is not a get rich quick scheme per se, and all these things. And just, there's time. Be careful, okay? There's time, but balance that with, hey, I want to be earlier and have people pumping my bags.
That's sure. I think I needed to add the fact of the deflationary aspect of the of TitanX. So it's just something to bear in mind, that it is actually deflationary, in addition to all the other levers we talked about. But Richie, thanks for that. Can I just really take this opportunity to acknowledge a few people? I think Crypto Mom was here. I think Danu, and quite a few people who've been here, and are sort of been sort of uh, soldiering on, within this kind of new concept of fair crypto. And so there's some beautiful people here, and we can definitely do some great things together. So yeah, any questions, anything to add, please feel free. Yeah. So if anyone has something to add, please, do feel free. Yeah. So,
Hey
yeah.
guys, I have one question actually. So I'm in this project for long term, as most of you guys are. And I'm just wondering, from a mass adoption standpoint, like, do we see this project getting listed into, like centralized exchanges where it's easily accessible for, your average retail investors? And the reason I ask is because this is a free launch project, and I know a lot of the projects like these do not get listed due to the fact that, there isn't enough incentive for the exchange to buy the token off the market or mint it and so on. So I'm just wondering, from a mass adoption standpoint, where do you guys see TitanX going in the next year or so?
Well, the first thing is like, I keep going back to Hex, but there was 350,000 users or something of Hex, and it never hit an exchange. They roadblocked it. They did all that stuff to it. I know that Jake has said that they're not giving any coins to anybody. If exchanges want to do it, then they're going to have to go mine them or buy them off the market. And I mean, exchanges do what they do, but it's a DeFi project, so it's probably going to be on Dex, but it's always possible. And some people said it's on Bitmart or somewhere already. So, I mean, I'm just letting you know that the idea that it has to be on a centralized exchange, I understand where you're coming from, but just remember that Hex had over 300,000 wallets on it, and it was actually gate kept mega hard. So.
Got it. I'm definitely new to this project as well. As never invested in Hicks, so at least that's good to know. And can you provide some insight in terms of like, what are like the major comparison versus Hex within the project, and what makes this different aside from the ETH payout and the burning mechanism versus Hex? Just trying to understand it a little bit more better.
There's really kind of actually not a lot that's like Hex. It's like Zen, it's like Bitcoin, it's like Ethereum, it's like a lot of things. But my experience is in Hex, so that's why I'm in Bitcoin. But you know, it's store of value. It's simple to understand. But some of the mechanisms of the adaption amplifier, you know, where you put the ETH in and it went to a quote unquote OA address and all this type of stuff. So the ETH you're putting into the miners is similar. There's only a few things that are actually similar to Hex, but actually there's more. The T rank and the T share, and I hit on that how the T rank and T share is similar, but you can't just keep the same T share number that people kept forever when they started Hex. You can keep the T rank for 280 days, so that's improved. There's like these projects that they're improved on, and I just mentioned Hex because it was decentralized DeFi, like, and all this stuff, and I mean, so I'm sorry that I keep mentioning it, but it's what I'm familiar with. And so maybe someone like Mo or someone said they were in Zen, so you know, there's a lot of things, like for example, you know, Richard Hart got, well, not Richard, but the OA, whoever that was, got all the ETH from the adoption amplifier. So basically the miners, like in this project, that all went to an address and they dictated what liquidity was and all this other stuff. In this project, the safety net is that the ETH is going into people who are staking, get the ETH right into the smart contract, and then 67% is going into the buy and burn. There's a buy and burn in this. There wasn't in Hex. Hex was massively inflationary forever, like blah, 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 blah. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, 100% agree from a buy and burn standpoint. And this project, definitely, that's something that kind of attracted me, and appreciate your insights on that. And one additional question I have is on the hyper narrative. I understand that hyper essentially is made to make sure the TitanX is at least one of its incentives is to make sure the TitanX is deflationary. But like, do you guys really see people burning for hyper due to the fact that, I mean, for me, I love the fact that you get paid out in ETH, but I understand it with hyper, you burn for hyper, and it's one for one. I understand there's also arbitrage opportunity with it, which I'm not 100% insightful in terms of how, but I understand that's one of the incentive. And I'm just wondering, like, why would people burn for hyper and take that risk where you're getting paid in ETH with TitanX? And if you stake hyper, I understand you get like paid in hyper, which is like 25 to 35%. So do you guys actually foresee people burning for hyper and taking that risk of not getting paid out in ETH, at least in the short term?
Well, remember also, if you burn up to 80 billion TitanX tokens, all of the future miners that you create now get up to an 8% bonus. So it's essentially paying yourself out for the long term. Again, I could see whales doing that easily.
Yeah, 100% for whales, but for like average retail investors, like I don't know how much of instead of the 8% bonus might be, unless you're doing like a really, on a 280-day miner. But I understand where you're coming from a well standpoint.
Just for context, I have a batch miner for 12 miners. It was just over a month, and it brought in 3 billion. So 8 billion is attainable without being a whale.
Got it. When did you start the miner? Like, was it relatively early?
Miners, you'll see what those T ranks are, and you never know what that's going to equate to.
Yeah, and I'm a believer in, like, I don't mess with stuff until it's there. So right now my focus point is just accumulating Titan X. So I'm kind of try to be simple minded like that. I'm pretty confident in what Jake's doing so far based upon future past results, and there's a plan there, and I see it, and I don't think anyone can truly tell you anything about hyper because there's no white paper and we don't have any idea other than some tidbits here and there. And you can't make financial decisions on tidbits. So when the white paper comes out, it'll be there. But I don't think he's going to make something, or anyone is going to make something that made something like this that is very well thought out and complex and beneficial, and then make something that's just trash. So I think there's something there, of course. And then what you're speaking of is timing wise, earlier, maybe, you know, it's more beneficial to use the mining and just keep doing that. I don't know, because you can also burn miners, and I don't know, you know. So the thing I learned in crypto was to use what's in front of me, and I can only go with that. So today I'm starting long-term miners. I'm still am today. I bought 2 more. I mean, I'll keep buying them until it's not beneficial anymore or something else comes out in the ecosystem that's better. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. I'm creating much as miner as possible. I love the T rank bonuses, but you know, since I'm new to this, I also want to understand the longevity of this project, and that's why I'm asking all the questions. Where we're everybody's bullish on this, and there's a lot of bullish narrative, but I'm just trying to understand like what potentially could happen where it's essentially, I mean, you don't want to put all the money that you don't want degen in the project, but most of us, we do degen, it looks good on paper, but at the end of the day, everybody puts in money that they want to risk as well as not, willing to risk as well. But it's just more so I just want to understand the project longevity in terms of what potentially risks are out there. And hyper to me obviously Jack's gonna create that to be very sustainable for the ecosystem. But the fact that I just don't like the fact that you're getting paid in hyper per se. It's just the ETH payout is very lucrative and attractive to me for TitanX, and that's the strategy that I'm gonna take. But at the same time, this is a game theory, right? So everybody's gonna play the game.
Yeah, so I think you're right, but so hyper is part of a key to have sustainability, because one of the ideas is that eventually, as the miners deplete, right, as far as output goes, there's going to be a curve where it's more lucrative to buy on the market. And because I've seen this in other projects, right, that have had mining things like this, and there's a curve, and eventually, because price up and because of reduction in rewards for mining and increase in cost of mining, that in the classic example is Bitcoin. You understand? Bitcoin. Listen, and this will answer hopefully your question, because this answered it for me. This is a big barrier for me. How do I keep doing this, and how does this keep being profitable if we have this curve going on? All right, look. When the beginning of a Bitcoin, you could mine 50 Bitcoin blocks. They were very frequent, and you got lots of them, 50 blocks on your laptop while you played a video game. Okay? I mean, seriously, it took no hash rate hardly at all. And matter of fact, there was faucets where they had drips, and they were giving the shit away for CAPTCHAs and things like this. Now you get 1 Bitcoin per block. It's super hard. You got to have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. So people are still buying miners to mine Bitcoin at 1 Bitcoin when you could have done it for free on your freaking laptop, bro. So price action, there's a mechanism there, and it's a proven mechanism that works. And I hope that helps you. But that's one thing that settled my mind on this too, because I was like, how is it sustainable? And what happens when there's a curve of mining isn't as profitable as buying off the market? Well, maybe that's when I start selling mine, when it's more profitable to buy them off the market. And I have a ton of them because I've been mining them. And so, like you said, it's a game, it's game theory, and I hope that helps you regarding Bitcoin.
I would like to add some points to Hyper. So you asked what are the incentives for people, why would they burn the tokens for Hyper? I mean, one aspect is that there will be this burn pool. So every 28 days, there will be actually an incentive for people to burn the Titan. So there will be constantly, every 28 days, someone will be burning, and with every burn of 1 billion Titan, you pay 0.2 Ethereum, which will buy up Titan from the market. So there will be this constant arbitrage between Titan and Hyper. And then another point is, as like there come more and more tokens into circulation, more and more people will start to stake, and so the staking rewards in the Titan pools, they will go down. So people, like with Hyper, people can start burning their stakes if they aren't profitable anymore or not profitable enough, and then they can early end their stakes and can go over to Hyper to still get some staking rewards, if that makes sense.
And just the one tidbit to add to that, also they can burn their stakes if they don't want to have that liquid supply locked up. I mean, that stake supply locked up for 3,500 days.
Yes.
Hyper gives you the option.
And one more question. So if I burn for Hyper, do I get the Hyper instantly? Or I know there's no white paper, but at least from what's out there, does one person need to wait for Hyper to unstake or whatever it is, or is it instant deposit? Does anyone have any insight into that?
There was some alpha given around that. So basically, the launch of Hyper will happen similarly to Titan, where there will be like an instant liquidity pool. But for people to get over to Hyper, you have to lock up your tokens for at least 8 days. So between 8 and 888 days, you can lock up your tokens when you want to create your Hyper. So you essentially stake them right when you bring them over for at least 8 days. So that's an interesting aspect, actually, because for the first 8 days, there will be no new Hyper coming into circulation, but there will still be all the buy pressure coming from people turning it over, like all those 0.2 Ethereum fees buying up the pool for 8 days. So there will be a massive arbitrage opportunity within, like right after the first 8 days, incentivizing more people to get over.
That 365, the 3,500 days where Hyper can actually burn that staking, that's actually significant. I understand that a lot of people stake their TitanX for the 3,500 days for that maximum reward counter, but at the same time, 10 years is a long time to be waiting for something. And it's, of course, is a choice that you made, of course, but to be able to take that out and be able to use it at your convenience, that's significant. That's significant too. So I just wanted to put real good emphasis on that. Like, you're able to take 10 years worth of staking and put it into something and take it away at any point in time throughout the process of Hyper and use that for liquidity and use that for liquidity. That's huge, actually.
Couldn't agree more. The fact that there's so many different vectors and strategies to make money in different ways with this, it shows how sticky this project is and how much you probably all know how much you want to log into your TitanX dashboard each and every day. Shows the longevity it could have. I appreciate each and every one of you in here. Thanks so much for hosting this space. I'm going to step down now, but enjoy your day. And I look forward to learning from all of y'all.
Thanks, Adam. Yes. Does anyone else have anything else to share? I think I would say, yeah. Someone about to say something?
Yeah, definitely want to talk
Is that
about.
Mark?
Yeah, definitely want to talk about and put emphasis on laddering. Like laddering is make sure that you know the game before you ladder. But laddering is a very important concept for building your bag up in TitanX, especially when it comes to ETH rewards. You can ladder it each day if you want, or ladder it every 3-4 days or every week, depending on what your laddering skills are. But I would highly recommend taking the ETH from your pool, from your ETH rewards, and start laddering into to more miners, so you can use those ETH rewards and build up your bag. One of the most significant things we always talk about is the ETH rewards and how important they are and how to build those. It's phenomenal, like beyond phenomenal, that a protocol can even do this and be sustainable. That's fucking game changer. Like, TitanX has changed the game as far as for ETH payouts because everybody's fucking doing it now, or trying to do it, or trying to produce something like this. So you know that it's significant. And I want to talk about the 280 days after. Once we get that initial 280 day, and this is just something to think about in the future. 280 day payout. Just some game, just some TA. I would ladder that also into the next 280 days. I would try to ladder it for every 7 days so you can catch the FOMO day before the actual payout day on day 8. So I would actually try to look at a calendar, break every 8 days down from the initial day on the website, and then do it day 7 or day 6. Try to get it out on day 7 or day 6. Day 7 be more because you get more funds, and try to ladder that out for the next 280 days after the initial big big supply. That would help you out also, because then you'll be having ETH rewards coming out on the 7th, and then you'll be able to place them in before the actual payout day on the 8th. Just wanted to put real significance on laddering and how important it is, and how it can build up your bag quickly, because after a couple of once Hyper comes out and TitanX gets to the point where it's getting scarce, it's going to be harder to ladder. So just wanted to put that emphasis on there, and how important ETH rewards is, how important putting your ETH rewards back into TitanX is important for the longevity, not of you, not just for you, but the ETH rewards and the function of the project itself. Because in the long run, right now, you're getting really good rewards, but if you keep spending those rewards outside the project, and that's fine too if that's what you want to do. Just know that down the road, that those funds that you're putting in now can be real, can really build your ETH rewards later on. Really put you in that place where you're making 10K a week, 20K a week. Just starting off. Just say you started from 0 now, and you started I got 0 ETH rewards. And if you keep building that ladder, you can come out with 10K a week. Because, like you said before, it's going to be so much, the liquid supply is going to be so less that people are not going to be able to, get TitanX like they want. Because right now we're at 8% now, and TitanX, Hyper ain't even out. It could get to the possibility where we get to 2%, 1%, 0.7% TitanX. Just saying, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, not financial advice. Play the game how you want. Thank you.
One note I want to add to staking also is, right now, like I stated, staking and getting ETH is very lucrative right now. But keep in mind, as more people get into TitanX and more people stake, there's going to be less payout for everyone else, right? So as the pool gets more competitive. So my approach right now, and like I stated before, is to stake much as I can, get the ETH reward as much as I possibly can, and then my hope is this project gets adopted to the point that the pool won't dry up, and it will be competitive, and everyone kind of gets their fair share. But I think early on, the most lucrative part of TinyX is the mining, and as well as the staking itself.
Hey, do you mind if I say a few things? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. At first, Plan A, thank you for hosting this space, on a consistent basis, and Mike for creating the analytics and everything else you've been doing with Dune. It's been incredible contribution to the community. And also, everybody who's participating in this and believes in this and what it stands for and is seeing Jake's vision is truly helping people, going to be able to improve the quality of their life. And if you do it right, you're on the right path. And in the Titan ecosystem, from what I've seen since the beginning, we're fortunate. We have a highly diverse group of people, global group of people with a lot of intelligence in the Web3 space, and they're contributing, their different talents, and it's creating an organic type of synergistic effect for a broader band of users to develop knowledge about TitanX. And we are on the right side of the crypto space in this protocol with TitanX, and I think the future looks really bright. And that's all I'm going to say, but we should appreciate, and I appreciate everybody for what they've been doing and helping us grow.
Yeah, and one of the mind-bending things to me is like, who controls the liquidity? You know what I mean? And it's like, we do. V2 is you and I and everyone else pushing a button to add liquidity. So we're putting money into the thing, and instead of a founder getting all that money and all those ETHs, not only on the end of receiving it through rewards or whatever, we control the liquidity, bro. It's mind-bending.
It's pretty epic, that's for sure. How you design this, and I mean, I'm seeing massive returns and off not lots of money, and I'm sure you guys are too that have been in since the beginning. And it's and you can compound it, and there's many game theories that you guys have already mentioned, and it's just going to benefit people, hugely. In this video that Mike made about how to exit when it comes time to go back to the real world with this without wrecking the chart and messing up others' investments, and if we all heeded that, or there's some other ways to do it with the buy and burn, slowly underneath the buy and burn too. And we can talk about those later on. I have no plans to exit anytime soon. Long time away for me. This is just growing its legs right now. But thank you again, Mike, for doing that. It's fantastic.
It's great. Thanks for that, Jay. Well, if there are no further contributions, I think I would propose that we we got to start wrapping up today's session. I think we've gone now for just kind of over 2 hours, but in that time we have I think we've really shared in a big way what TitanX is about, and the importance of having these sort of sessions so that we can share information with new joiners, those who are contemplating, to join, provide a resource base, an interactive resource base for new joiners, for those who are currently part of the TitanX community, and the prospective joiners, those who are still thinking about joining. And I hope that we have been able to cover quite a bit of ground here. I think I see Mike wants to say something.
Yeah, I would just
Please go ahead.
yeah, I just want to say thank you everybody for joining. Thanks Marvin for coming up. Richie, great insights from you guys. Hope you can join next time as well. And thank everybody who spoke, and yeah, and everybody who listened. And if you have any questions, guys, just always hop on, and we're here to help. Thank you very much.
Yes, I think
Yeah, want to give a shout out to Crypto Kindness and all the streamers that are in here, like promoting us as TitanX. Like, want to give a real shout out to you guys, because like y'all are building our community in a way that we can't. Just want to give out like a really good shout out to like Crypto Kindness and Max Broadcast and like all the other streamers. If I'm missing you, I apologize, but like just wanted to thank you guys. Like really appreciate you guys, because y'all making our community grow. Like we can never make like marketing is not enough for the influence that you guys have like over crypto and explaining all the things that sometimes that we don't see. So I just want to give a shout out to y'all influencers And I named some people by name. So thank you.
I will second that. Crypto Kindness, you're doing such a great job to the entire crypto space. You're really touching people's lives, and you do bring kindness to the entire ecosystem. I think I heard I think it was your last YouTube video, the one before it, where you talked about what inspired you to do these videos, to get into these videos and so on. I mean, that's a sentiment that I think most people agree to. There's really no need for those who are within the crypto space or the DeFi space to be mean to each other. It's a small space anyway. Outsiders are taking it, they're curious as to what's going on here. And if we just simply mean to each other and unnecessarily so, just because people are seeking knowledge, then it is self-defeating. It is completely unconstructive. And so I think what you have done is really take a step forward and lead in that way, and you definitely do bring a lot of insight, and it's not just what is said, it's how it's said, and I think you do a lot of good, in that respect, and for TitanX, it's it's a gift from God to have you pay attention to what's going here and drill down and drill to get as much information, as possible, and share that. And so I think, and we touched upon this earlier, TitanX is about transparency. There's nothing else. That's the only currency that will work. And that's the only model that will work for crypto going forward. And so, yes, thanks again for that, for all the good work you do. And thanks to all other YouTubers who, are doing a lot of work to bring the TitanX message out there. I think, Mark sort of said it all. It's a lot of hard work. And the knowledge is growing, the resource materials are sort of are growing, and it is really down to your effort. So thanks again. Thanks to everyone who is contributing in that great manner. So good. I think just rounding up. Please note, if you want to seek information, we do have our Telegram, channel that you could visit and find out more. The spirit, as we've mentioned here, the spirit of our Telegram group is one of respect, collaboration, and teamwork. So please do feel free to ask questions. Now, if you find that your question wasn't addressed properly, please don't take it to heart. The people there to help, and just I'll say, continue to seek that knowledge. We have this spaces every week. At least for now, we're having at least once every week, and so this is also a resource to consult. And I think, as we've talked about earlier, the YouTube videos on TitanX are growing. And so, there is a lot out there for us to access. And please do feel free to do so. And please continue to attend these spaces to interact and ask any questions that you may have. Okay, so I think that's on that. So just say bear with me. Let me see whether I have kind of missed. I don't want to miss anything. But in any case, I think TitanX is actually pursuing excellence. I think that's what we are. We are all in pursuit of excellence here. And even if we find that people, may not live up to expectation, just understand this, that overall, that this is what it is. We are in pursuit of excellence and are prepared and should be held accountable. And so, again, in Telegram group, if there's anything that's said that shouldn't be said, please bring that up. Or if you feel slighted, please feel free to bring that up. And it would be corrected. Just wanted to let you know where our heart is as a community. And that's good. And so let me just round up by saying that in all of this, we're not recommending any particular projects. The objective here is to create awareness and explain the principles that drive a crypto project such as TitanX. We continue to insist that we almost do our own research and make informed decisions. It's not a cliche to say do your own research, and that what we're doing here is not providing financial advice, but education. And I think a lot of us who have spoken have disclosed that we are participants within the TitanX ecosystem. So we're investing. And as I mentioned earlier, I went in very early because I really saw the vision here. And what again, to recap, please do your own research. Looking forward, we have Christmas holidays ahead of us for those of us who celebrate Christmas. We've also got the New Year, so we've got holidays ahead for most of us. There's also the Chinese New Year. At this time is going to be early, so sometime in February. Long and short of it, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to sit down and do some work, reading up on this and finding out what wonderful project this is about.